Yeah, nah, no problem.
Right?
Yes, sir.
First event of the season. You know, it wasn't the most exciting event, but
Right.
it ended with
Excitement.
yeah. What were your thoughts?
To your point, yeah, we kind of started off a little bit slow, and as the night went on, it got better and better. So, it just tells us that the second round is going to be even better. But I think next week, fighters are now watching this and then realize that they got to come and bring it. So, and that's the other, talking point for me when we do the fighter meeting is that, you guys are fighting for a world title and $1 million, so you can't go out there and just think you can walk through with 3 points because that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
What were your thoughts on the main event?
The co-main event, I was surprised the way it happened. I thought it was going to be a finish there because I figured these two guys are big, strong guys, both fast. But to Robert's credit, he understood how dangerous Thiago is. So, and like he said in his interview, he wanted to display more of his ground as well in this fight so that people can understand, or the fighters in the division can be put on notice so that, so that it doesn't matter where the fight goes, he would, you still come out on top. And I got to say, he did that tonight. Now, to your point again, it wasn't like the most exciting fight, but I guess he did what he did to win, right?
Brendan called his shot. He wants Mobley in Manchester at the end of the season. I mean, is that the fight that's building?
Well, I mean, obviously for him, he knows that one of those big losses for him was Mobley, right? So he's going to want to get that back, especially being that he's the champion or defending champion at that. But Brendan looked amazing tonight against, and I got to say, there were some really nice low kicks, and I was impressed because the fact that he was able to switch from southpaw from orthodox to southpaw and still get off the kicks that he did. There's only very few people that can do that, and he did it, at 100% tonight.
Three former UFC fighters went down to PFL fighters. Is it kind of just there's more dialogue that the octagon fighters in the UFC?
Well, I don't want to say anything like, listen, I got nothing but love and respect for the UFC, but there's a lot of fighters all over the world that are good fighters, right? And some nights are good nights and some nights are not. And so, again, listen, the UFC have some great fighters. We have some great fighters, and and the guys showed that tonight. You know what I mean? That's still in the works, so I can't really comment too much on that, but that's still in the works.
Do you know, would you have an approximate time frame when we might see an event?
I believe that we were thinking of somewhere after the playoffs, so which is August, late August or so. So. Yes, absolutely. Yep, she's definitely on one of those cards.
And speaking with Kayla as well, like last night we spoke with Scott Coker and he said that Cyborg is not re-signed with Bellator yet. So there is still a chance that she could resign somewhere else. I'm wondering if that's still something you guys are interested in, if you've had any talks with her.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, Scott is a good friend of mine, but it's one of these things where I'm not sure exactly where the negotiations is with Chris Cyborg. And of course, if she becomes a free agent, then 100% we would love to have her. That is correct. We have been, we've had a few meetings with Francis, and those discussions are still going on. Obviously, there's a few other things he also wants to pursue, which is boxing. And he knows where we stand with that too. So, it's all positive, should I say, right?
And I guess my last question, if you were to sign him, would you see him kind of be in one of the more super fight cards, or would you hope to get him into the tournament?
To be quite honest, I would love to have him in the season, right? But Again, I think it's no surprise he's a pay-per-view kind of guy, right? And so, yeah, I think that's kind of up to him, where we go with that. But listen, if he decides that he wants to be in the season, love to have him in the season.
I guess I have one. What about Jake Paul? When do you see Jake Paul fighting?
Well, yeah, no, Jake, I think he's made it clear. Well, I'm not sure if he's made it clear, but I know for a fact that Jake is, still training MMA, and time frame wise, I think either late this year or early next year sometime. Yeah.
Overall, what was your take on tonight's event? You were in a brand new venue. There was, the really good crowd, the support. Just give you an overall
Yeah, no, yeah, it's the first show of the season, so all in all, it was great. But to your point earlier, we need a little bit more excitement, and I think next week that's going to happen even more so. Thank you.
Was there one fighter maybe on the undercard that really stuck out to you?
Well, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of fights that stuck out, but for the wrong reason. I thought the judges made, on 2 fights tonight, made the wrong call. But, I'm not judging the fight. But clearly the audience also thought the same, right? So, unfortunately for those guys, and Jacko, for example, Christoph Jacko he just pulled me aside just now and he says, hey, boss, what's going on? I thought I won that fight. I said, I thought so too. Unfortunately, I don't judge the fight, right? So it is what it is.
So, and that kind of screws him with the point.
Right. Well, I mean, where he's got to go now is, come back the second round and look for a finish, because that's the only way he's going to look to get into that playoffs is by earning 6 points. So, I hope that he's going to look back on that and make some adjustments and come back stronger.
How happy were you with the Chris Wade fight and Bubba that the replay showed and they put him back in that position? You were relieved that the referee caught that so well and on the spot did such a great job handling that situation.
Right. I agree. I thought at first I thought he got hit with the knee. It was an illegal knee, but on the replay it clearly showed that it hit him in the gloves, kind of just below his chin. So it's a legal shot, and so I thought the referee did a great job.
And you spoke about the strength of PFL fighters, what they're able to do against UFC fighters. But on the flip side, the UFC guys that are making their debut here and they're starting, did their value drop any night? Did their stock drop any night? Especially talking about Jacko, you thought he won. Thiago, people are expecting a lot of things from him.
Right.
Watching their performance out there, are they still as dangerous and as strong and as valuable to what you thought you guys could get out of him?
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's look at who he fought, right? So Thiago fought the PFL champion, right? And if you look at the PFL champion's road to victory last year, he finished almost everybody. And then we came up against Jacko, who's still a very dangerous fighter. And we saw some of the things he tried in that last round because he knew he had to catch up. That being said, I think they were expecting more of a stand-up fight. You know what I mean? And that itself didn't present itself. And so he was forced to grapple, and unfortunately he came out second best. In saying that, Thiago is still very dangerous, So, yeah, I mean, again, he's another guy in that spot where he's got to come out second round and really, put it on somebody and trying to earn those points to get to the playoffs.
That was Marlon Moraes' 6th stoppage loss in a row. Where does he go from here?
That's a very good question. It's a very good question because, I had spoken to his team as well, and they said that he was still hungry and still ready to go. But not taking anything away from Brandon. I mean, Brandon looked amazing. Brandon looked amazing, incredible. And I'm not just saying because Brandon's sitting there, but the fact that we saw him in the championship And the way he won the championship was amazing, right? He came out, defended a few takedowns, kept going, putting things together, and what we saw in the championship round, we saw tonight. So like I said earlier, there's only very few people that can switch from an orthodox position to a southpaw position and still be able to kick as clean as he does. So, that's coming from, a kickboxer myself. So I was impressed. I thought Brandon looked amazing.
With Marlon and his 6 losses, is that something where you might pull him out of the season and bring somebody in to replace him?
Well, I mean, that's the discussion I got to sit down with his team and talk about, that. Again, I don't want to pull him out, so it's because, technically, listen, if he got knocked out cold, like the last fight, then I probably would seriously think about pulling him out. Tonight, Brandon, again, he fought an amazing fight, fought a smart fight, stuck to his game, and was able to. Nobody's actually stopped Marlon with low kicks, and he did. You know what I mean? And that's saying a lot because Marlon comes from a kickboxing background himself. He's a former world kickboxing champion himself. So, so I don't want to say that's possible. That I would do that, but I would have to talk to his team and kind of get their feel on it and see what they say.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.